Hare Krishna. Sorry, Hare Krishna. We'll start with the invocation. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamallam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will be revising Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapters 13 to 19, which is Unit 11. So we'll start with chapter 13. Mother Jija is first in the line.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I start?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. My obeisances to our spiritual guru, Srila Prabhupada Ji. Srila Prabhupada Ji provides guidance to our soul to look inwards, to remove all our anarthas, and shows us the spiritual path and enables us to turn towards Sri Krishna. Kindly forgive me for any shortcomings. Canto 3, Chapter 13, Text 1 to 15. Inquiries by Vidura about Manu. Vidura was a pure devotee of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna says his pure devotees are more worshipable than he himself. Sri Krishna was pleased to dine with Vidura at his home, and while resting, Sri Krishna placed his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura. Worship of the pure devotee is more potent than worship of the Lord. Vidura had a natural inclination to hear about Sri Krishna. Vidura inquires about Manu. O sage, what did the dear son of Brahmaji, Manu, do after obtaining his loving wife? When the 4 previous sons of Brahmaji, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara, refused to obey Brahmaji, Brahmaji became mortified, and his anger was manifested in the form of Rudra. The other sons of Brahmaji, the Kumaras, directly engaged in devotional service, and they had no need to execute the Varnashrama Dharma. The obedience of Manu was very encouraging. Manu always asked his father, Brahmaji, to instruct and guide him, and Brahmaji was very glad to instruct Manu. This father and son relationship should be followed by all mankind. This sort of adoration for the superior is required. By the guidance of Brahmaji, Manu became a perfect administrative head. Manu trained the citizens in devotional service of Rishikesha. The complete process of perfectional service is to render satisfaction of transcendental senses of Lord Krishna, who is known as Janardana. Manu prayed, O all-powerful Lord, O killer of all sins, I shall abide by your order. Now please let me know my place and that of the living entities born of me. Manu prayed to the master of demigods to lift the earth, which is merged in the great water, as it is the dwelling place for all living entities. The great water is the Garbhodaka ocean, which fills half the universe. This can be done only by the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna. Lord Sri Krishna, who is the cause of all causes. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Very good. Kalyani is next.
Hare Krishna Prabhujis and Matajis, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present Unit 11, Canto 3, Chapter 13, verses 16 to 15, the appearance of Lord Vara. The section is divided into 4 parts. Part 5, pastimes of Svetavaraha. During Svetavaraha millennium, the earth gets submerged in the water, that is Garbhodaka ocean. As Swayambhu Manu requests Lord Brahma to let him know his place and that of the living entities born of him, Lord Brahma thinks about the earth because it is a dwelling place for all the living entities. Brahma thought, while I've been engaged in the process of creation, the earth has gone down into the depths of the ocean. Brahma gave his attention for a long time how it could be lifted. He prays in his heart to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to direct and show mercy. All of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril, which was not more than the upper portion of a thumb. That boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation as a great elephant. While Brahma was guessing about the appearance of the Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. The omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. When the great sages and thinkers who are the residents of higher lokas heard the voice of Lord Boar, which was the all-auspicious sound of the all-merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious chants from the 3 Vedas. The Lord was therefore pleased when such Vedic mantras were chanted, and to encourage his pure devotees, he rode once more and entered the water to rescue the submerged earth. Since Lord had assumed the form of a boar, he began to search out the earth by smelling, just like a hawk. Lord Boar penetrated the water with his hooves, which were like sharp arrows. The Lord found the earth on the bottom of the Garbhodaka ocean, where the planets rest during the devastation at the end of the Brahma's day. Part 6, Pastimes of Nila Varaha. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Vedic literatures describe the incarnation of Lord Varaha in 2 different devastations, namely the Chakshusa devastation and Swayambhuva devastation. This particular appearance of the boar incarnation actually took place in the Swayambhuva devastation. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti suggests that the sage Maitreya amalgamated both the boar incarnations in different devastations and summarized them in his description to Vidura. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusk and got it out of the water. Then he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksha, although he tried to fight with the Lord. Hereupon, Lord Boar killed the demon within the water, just as a lion kills an elephant. The cheeks and tongue of the Lord became smeared with the blood of the demon, just as an elephant becomes reddish from digging in the purple earth. Then the Lord, playing like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusk. He assumed a bluish complexion like that of a tamala tree, and thus the sages, headed by Brahma, could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offered respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Part 7, Prayers by the Sages. All the greater sages and inhabitants of higher lokas offered obeisances to the hawk form of Lord and chanted glories and victories unto him along with Vedic chants. O Lord, you are the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asoma, and you are bound by yagnas only. There are 7 kinds of routine yagnas performed by all followers of Vedic rituals. Anyone performing such yagnas is supposed to be situated with the Lord. But when anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all different varieties of yagnas. The fortune of the earth planet is praised because of its being specifically sustained by the Lord. Its beauty is appreciated and compared to that of a lotus flower situated on the trunk of an elephant. As a lotus flower with leaves is very beautifully situated, so the world with its many beautiful mountains appeared on the tusk of a Lord Bull. O Lord, as the peaks of great mountains become beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusk. When the drops of the water from the tips of the Lord's shoulder hairs were sprinkled upon the bodies of the inhabitants of higher planets, they felt purified. Part 8. The Lord returned and Falastuti. The Lord, being thus worshipped by all the great sages and transcendentalists, touched the earth with his placed it on the water. In this manner, Lord Vishnu raised the earth from within the water, and having placed it afloat on the water, he returned to his own abode. If one hears and describes in a devotional service attitude this auspicious narration of Lord Both, which is worthy of description, the Lord who is within the heart of everyone is very pleased. The narration of the activities of personal Godhead is like a constant flow of nectar. Devotional service to the Lord is the highest goal of life for every human being, and such devotional service begins by hearing about the transcendental activities of the personality of God. Therefore, one who is serious about eliminating material existence must chant and hear of the transcendental activities of the personality of God. One who engages in transcendental loving service elevated to the highest perfection stage by the Lord Himself, who is seated in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, super excellent. Any questions, comments, realizations? Mother Jija and Kalyani?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it is a super excellent presentation by both of them, Prabhu.
Super excellent.
Yeah, Kalyani actually does pretty good job on presentations, even though she sometimes misses some classes. But Kalyani, that is super excellent that you are able to present, even though you miss classes, simply by probably reading Srila Prabhu's notes. Super excellent.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. This is all with all your blessings, and I will try to attend the most possible sessions as far as possible. Thank you.
All blessings are coming from Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and Shri Radha Krishna. Okay, let me quickly present chapter 13 also. So Canto 3 is titled The Status Quo. Unit 11 is titled Varaha Avatar. Unit 11 covers chapters 13 to 19 and is on the pastimes of Lord Varahadev. Chapter 13 is titled The Appearance of Lord Varaha. Chapter 13 to 19 is a detour. And the discussion that was going on in chapter 12 continues in chapter 20, the discussion about Sarga and Visarga. In this chapter 13 to 19 detour, the discussion is around Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, that how Jai Vijay got cursed. And because of the curse, Jai Vijay took birth as demons, as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, then Shishupal and his brother, and then Ravan and his brother, to satisfy Lord's fighting desire. Vidura took the path of sannyas, hence Vidura did not have to ask about Swayambhuva Manu, because Swayambhuva Manu is a grahastha. But because Swayambhuva Manu is a great devotee, hence Vidura wanted to know activities of Swayambhuva Manu. The topics of the Lord as well as the topics of the devotees are equally important. If we hear pastimes of pure devotees, example, if you read Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, you will get the same benefit. We will not take birth again in this material world. Krishna preferred to go to Vidura's home, that how Vidura's wife offered banana peel, because that was offered with love and devotion, and Krishna accepts. At that time, Krishna placed his lotus feet on Vidura's lap, and Vidura massaged Krishna's lotus feet. And this is how fortunate and exalted position of Vidura is. Sukadeva Goswami remembers all this and is narrating all this. During creation, Brahmaji had faced 5 challenges of dissatisfaction, disobedience, being disturbed, deficiency, and distraction. Brahmaji finally created Swayambhuva Manu and Satrupa, and they are obedient to Brahmaji. Swayambhuva Manu and Satrupa immediately requested the father Brahmaji to instruct them. Swayambhuva Manu was asked to create progeny, but they could not find earth. Brahmaji was thinking what to do, and while thinking, from Brahmaji's nostril, Lord Varahadev appeared. Maitreya Muni narrates Varahadev's pastime that happened in Swayambhuva Manu Manvantara, and in the process of describing Varahadev's pastime, Maitreya Muni goes into ecstasy. Hence, Maitreya Muni goes on to also describe Neela Varahadev's avatar, where Hiranyakaksha fought, and this Neela Varaha's appearance is in a different Manvantara. Yes, so there are 2 Varaha incarnations in 2 different Manvantras, which Maitreya Muni describes. The Varahadev that appeared from nostrils of Brahmaji was during the Sweta Varaha Kalpa, which is Brahmaji's first day, during the Swayambhuva Manu's Manvantara, to lift earth from the Garbhodaka ocean. Neela Varaha appeared from water during the Chakshusha Manvantara. Chakshusha Manvantara is the 6th Manvantara and is immediately previous to the current ongoing Manvantara. And the purpose was to lift earth as well as to kill Hiranyaksha. So both Varahadev are of different colors. Sweta Varaha is not dark, rather is whitish like the moon. And Neela Varaha is darkish blue, like a cloud. The sages offer prayers unto Lord Varahadev. Although it is not directly mentioned that the prayers are for which Varahadev, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has clarified that these prayers of the sages are in the Chakshusha Manu's time to the Neela Varahadev. Lord Varahadev's body is described as the form of sacrifice. Hence, the various parts of Lord Varahadev's body, from Lord Varahadev's body, various sacrifices arose. And sages are comparing each part of Lord's body as sacrifice because Lord's body is Vedas personified. Just some examples. I won't list all sacrifices. Just some examples that from Lord's skin, Vedic hymn arose. From his hair, kusa grass arose. From his eyes, ghee. From his legs, the 4 actions of the various categories arose. From his tongue, the sacrificial ladle, and on. There's a laundry list of sacrifices given. But the idea is to describe that the Lord's body is the form of sacrifice. After rescuing earth, the Lord departed for his own abode. And lastly, the Falastuti is described that if one hears and describes Lord Varahadev's pastime, the Lord becomes pleased, and when the Lord is pleased, nothing remains unachieved. We all request, and we hope that Lord is pleased with all of us while we are discussing his glories. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, realizations? That's a quick summary of chapter 13. Okay. Chapter 14.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please accept my humble obeisances. I am seeking permission from all the Vaishnavas present here, all the devotees, Srila Prabhupada ji, all the gurus in disciplic succession, and Srimati Radharani, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And please forgive me for any mistakes or shortcomings in my presentation. I will try to present the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, which is titled as Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening. So I will be presenting the first two parts of this chapter. The part one is titled as Vidura's inquiry about the Nilvara, and the second part is titled as Maitreya Muni congratulates Vidura. So in the previous chapter, we discussed how Lord Vara saved the earth by lifting it out of the water on his tusk and killed the demon Hiranyaksh. After hearing this story, Vidura was still eager to hear more of the Lord's pastimes and asked Maitreya Muni to tell him more about the Lord's divine activities. This boar incarnation appeared in two different ages. Firstly, the Lord appeared in Swambhu millennium, and secondly, he appeared in Chakshashu millennium. In the Swambhu Manu, the Lord Vara lifted the earth from the cosmic ocean and placed it back in its rightful position. Whereas in Chakshusha millennium, he appeared as a boar again and defeated the demon Hiranyaksh, who had caused great disturbance. Also in Swambhu millennium, the Lord appeared in whitish color, which is also known as Shvetvara. And in Chakshashu millennium, he was reddish in color. So Vidura was still eager to learn more and wanted to know the reason for the fight between the demon king Hiranyaksh and Lord Vara. In purport, also Srila Prabhupada ji describes that a person who truly believes and is curious about the spiritual topics is ready to hear the divine stories and about the Supreme God, including his pastimes, his appearances and disappearances. So Vidura was just such a person because he had a strong faith and deep desire to learn. He was the right person to receive and understand these spiritual teachings. A true devotee of Lord finds no interest in hearing about the materialistic, ordinary, worldly topics like mundane warfare. Instead, a pure devotee takes pleasure in hearing about the divine wars and pastimes of the Lord. And by delighting in these spiritual stories, such devotee gets free from the cycle of birth and death. So just like Vidura was anxious to know more about the Lord's divine pastimes, we can also see the similar example of Dhruv Maharaj, who became enlightened by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu by just listening to the teachings given by Narad Muni. So through his connection with Narad Muni and by hearing the Lord's activities, Dhruv Maharaj attained the highest spiritual destination. So therefore, from here we can understand that hearing the war topics of the Lord is as good as the other devotional service. So I would like to conclude my presentation here. Thank you once again for your patience and attention. So let us end this with a collective chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Ram
Thank
Ram Hare Hare.
Okay, super excellent.
you, Prabhuji. All glories to you and Prabhupada.
Okay, I'm going to play Srila Prabhu's recording for the second part of chapter 14.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's and Mataji's Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present Unit 11, Canto 3, Chapter 4, verses 8 to 51, Part 3. Diti approaches Kashyapa for union in the evening. Diti, daughter of Daksha, being afflicted with such desire, begged her husband Kashyapa, the son of Marichi, to have intercourse with her in the evening in order to beget a child. In Bhagavad Gita, sexual intercourse for begetting children is accepted as righteous. In Diti's appeal to her husband for sex, it was not exactly that she was afflicted by sex desires, but she desired children. Since she had no children, she felt poorer than her co-wives. Therefore, Kashyapa was supposed to satisfy his bona fide wife. Diti knew well that her request might be rejected because of the untimely situation, but she pleaded that when there is an emergency or a distressful condition, there is no consideration of time or situation. Part 4. Kashyapa glorifies his wife as a henpecked husband. When a man or woman is afflicted by this lust of sex desire, it is to be understood as sinful contamination. Kashyapa was engaged in his spiritual activities, but he did not have sufficient strength to refuse his wife, who was thus afflicted. He was not as spiritually strong. As one can cross over the ocean with seagoing vessels, one can cross the dangerous situation of material ocean by living with a wife. There are 4 social orders for cooperation in the endeavor for liberation from material existence. The orders of Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa all depend for successful advancement on the householder who lives with a wife. This cooperation is essential for the proper functioning of the institution of Varnashrama Dharma. The man who lives with a wife has a great responsibility in maintaining the members of the other social orders. By helping the other 3 sections of society cultivate spiritual values, the householder also makes advancement in spiritual life. Ultimately, every member of society automatically becomes spiritually advanced and easily crosses the ocean of nescience. By the Vedic injunction, the wife is accepted as the better half of man's body because she is supposed to be responsible for discharging half of the duties of the husband. Part 5. Kashyapa's reasons for postponing union. The henpecked husband may not be able to repay his wife for all the benefits that he derives from her. In spite of Kashyapa's being very eager to have union, he requested her to wait for a few seconds so that others might not reproach him. Kashyapa has already told his wife Diti to wait for a while, and now he warns her that failure to consider the particular time will result in punishment from the ghosts and evil spirits who move during this time, along with their master, Lord Rudra. Lord Shiva, the king of ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, travels at this time accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity, nor is he in the category of Vishnu. He is far more powerful than any other living entity up to the standard of Lord Brahma. Yet he is not on an equal level with Lord Vishnu. Since he is almost like Lord Vishnu, Shiva can see past, present and future. Kashyapa took him as his younger brother because the youngest sister of Diti was married to Lord Shiva. The husband of one's sister is considered one's brother. By that social relationship, Lord Shiva happened to be the younger brother of Kashyapa. Kashyapa warned his wife that because Lord Shiva would see their sexual indulgence, the time was not appropriate. Kashyapa informed his wife that just because Lord Shiva happened to be his brother-in-law, that should not encourage her in her offense towards him. Kashyapa warned her that actually Lord Shiva is not connected with anyone, nor is anyone his enemy. It is said that among all the devotees of the personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva is the greatest. Lord Shiva never accepts any luxurious dress, garland, ornament or ointment. There are 2 kinds of devotees of Lord Shiva. One class is the gross material seeking only bodily comforts from Lord Shiva, and the other class desires to become one with him. Part 6. Union and Diti's repentance. The difference between a married wife and a public prostitute is that one is restrained in sex life by the rules and regulations of the scriptures, whereas the other is unrestricted sex life and is conducted solely by the strong sex urge. Although very enlightened, Kashyapa, the great sage, became a victim of his prostitute wife. Such is the strong force of material energy. Kashyapa was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and although he knew that Lord Shiva would not be pleased with him for such a forbidden act, he was obliged to act by his wife's desire, and thus he offered his obeisances unto fate. He knew that the child born of such untimely sexual intercourse would certainly not be a good child, but could not protect himself because he was too obligated to his wife. In a similar case, however, when Haridas Thakur was tempted by a public prostitute at the dead of night, he avoided the allurement because of his perfection in Krishna conscious. That is the difference between a Krishna conscious person and others. Kashyapa Muni was greatly learned and enlightened, and he knew all the rules and regulations of systematic life. Yet he failed to protect himself from the attack of sex desire. Thakur Haridas Thakur was not born of a Brahmana family, nor was he himself a Brahmana. Yet he could protect himself from such an attack due to his being Krishna conscious. Kashyapa Muni appears to be an impersonalist. Comparing his character with that of Thakur Haridasa as referred to above, it is clear that the personalist is stronger in sense control than the impersonalist. Diti came to her senses after the abominable sexual intercourse with her husband. Diti was conscious of her offense and was anxious to be excused by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has 2 popular names, Rudra and Ashitosha. Diti prayed for the mercy of Lord Shiva very cleverly. Diti invoked the pleasure of her sister Sati so that Sati would request her husband to excuse her. Besides that, Lord Shiva is the worshipful Lord of all women. Part 7. Kashyapa predicts the predictions and Diti's request. The great sage Kashyapa thus addressed his wife, who was trembling because of fear that her husband was offended. She understood that he had been dissuaded from his daily duties of offering evening prayers, yet he desired the welfare of her children, and she desired the welfare of her children in the world. The condition for having good progeny in society are that the husband should be disciplined in religious and regulative principles, and the wife should be faithful to them husband. The learned Kashyapa could foresee the character of the sons who would be born of the condemned womb of Diti. Demonic activities are predominant when innocent, faultless living entities are killed. Women are tortured and great souls engaged in Krishna conscious are enraged. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord descends as an incarnation to deliver the devotees and kill the miscreants. Part 8. Kashyapa speaks about Diti's grandson Prahlada. Kashyapa said, because of Diti's lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of God and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlada, of your son Hiranyakashipu will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the personality of Godhead. There are 3 stages of transcendental development and devotional service, which are technically called Chai Bhava, Anubhava, and Mahabhava. Continual perfect love of Godhead is called Chai Bhava, and when it is performed in a particular type of transcendental relation, it is called Anubhava. But the stage of Mahabhava is visible amongst the personal pleasure potencies of the Lord. It is understood that the grandson of Diti, namely Prahlad Maharaja, would constantly meditate on the Lord and reiterate his activities. Prahlad Maharaja, the exemplary devotee of the Lord, had all the good qualities humanly possible. Although he was the emperor of this world, he was not profligate. It is indicated here that the grandson of Diti, Prahlad Maharaj, would not only see the personality of God within himself by meditation, but would also be able to see him personally with his eyes. This direct vision is possible only for one who is highly elevated in Krishna consciousness, but the Lord is not possible to see with material eyes. Diti was very aggrieved to learn that because of her untimely pregnancy, her sons would be demons and would fight with the Lord. But when she heard that her grandson would be a great devotee and that her 2 sons would be killed by the Lord, she was very satisfied. Since the Lord is absolute, his acts of violence and non-violence are both on the absolute platform. There is no difference in such acts of the Lord. Mundane violence and non-violence have nothing to do with the Lord's acts. A demon killed by him attains the same result as one who attains liberation after many, many births of penance and austerity. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, any questions, comments, realizations for the Panch Prabhu and Srila Prabhu? Okay, the Panch Prabhu's first presentation, the Panch Prabhu did a very good job of starting with proper invocation and also ending with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Super excellent.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna.
All goes up for Guru Maharaj, not for me. All right, let me present chapter 14 also. Chapter Canto 3, chapter 14 is titled Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening. Important lessons in this chapter 14 are, first, that qualifications of qualified hearer of Krishna Katha is given. Second, how material nature fools conditioned souls and makes everyone hurt themselves. And the third is, Grahastha ashram is glorified when Krishna consciousness is the focus and not sense gratification. Vidura already heard about Svetavaraha in the Swayambhuva Manu Manvantara. Because Maitreya Muni became ecstatic while explaining Svetavaraha and else goes on to also explain Nilavaraha's pastime. Hence, now Vidura is showing inquisitiveness and wants to hear about Nilavarahadev. This is one of the qualifications of the qualified hearer, that hearer wants to hear more Krishna Katha. Because Lord is involved, hence Vidura wants to hear. Vidura is inquiring more and more that what was the exact reason for the fight between Nilavarahadev and Hiranyaksha. Maitreya Muni is appreciating and expressing gratitude to Vidura because Vidura inquired well. Because anyone who hears the answers of Vidura's inquiries will become free from birth and death cycle, because it involves topics of Krishna. Even the creation pastime is transcendental, which is described in Canto 2, chapter 5, and then Canto 3, chapter 5. There are a few chapters. Because in this also Lord is involved, hence devotees are interested to hear. In response to Vidura's inquiry, Maitreya Muni started explaining from the start that how Hiranyaksha took birth. Diti approaches Kashyapa Muni for union in the evening by giving various reasons and pleading for union, as well as blaming Kashyapa that if you are not there and when I am alone, this lust does not do anything to me. Since you are present, hence lust is attacking me, and for this lust, you Kashyapa are the reason. Hence you Kashyapa is responsible. Diti wants to hide her shame that lust is not the main reason. Therefore she says, by the way, I also want a son. Kashyapa is doing meditation, but Diti is blaming Kashyapa for Diti's own fault. This is the strategy of material nature. The strategy of material nature is to make ourselves hurt ourselves. Material nature fools all conditioned souls. Material nature makes everyone hurt own self by use of our own energy. Conditioned souls also don't realize that material nature makes them forget real reason for their suffering. Jivas are suffering because they are not able to control the mind and senses, just as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Karsati. Karsati means struggling. But they do not know the real reason that I am suffering because of nature, because of my false ego, because of being conditioned by the three modes. Instead, they put blame on others, on external factors, that because of so-and-so person, because of so-and-so reason, I am suffering, just as Diti is blaming Kashyapa. Because of my tendency to enjoy separate from Krishna is the real reason for my suffering, not any external factors, not any other person. Because Kashyapa was not strong enough, instead of strongly saying no, Kashyapa was trying to pacify Diti, and hence Kashyapa glorifies Diti. Kashyapa gives various reasons to postponing union because it's not the right time. Diti may say that no one is seeing. Hence, Kashyapa goes on to say that Shiva has three eyes. Shiva can see, and Diti may end up getting ghosts as children. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds that even though Diti was so informed with so many reasons, still she ignored. Hence, Diti is like a prostitute. Shiva has three eyes. He will punish us. Don't think Shiva as your brother or brother-in-law, because Shiva is equal to all. Shiva is very merciful to ghosts. Sometimes Shiva will give physical form to ghost if anyone does any mistakes. Even with so much warnings, nothing could enter in Diti's ears because lust, divorce, discrimination. Proof of this is Brahmaji among men due to the Vak episode, and Diti among women. They do not bother about self-respect. They just do not discriminate. Srila Prabhupada compares Kashyapa Muni to Haridas Thakur. That Kashyapa Muni knew the rules but still failed to follow. Haridas Thakur was approached by a public prostitute in the middle of night, but Haridas Thakur avoided the allurements because of his perfection in Krishna consciousness. The Grahastha ashram is glorified that one can cross the material ocean by living with a wife when husband and wife are focused on spirituality and not on sense gratification. Lastly, Diti repents, knowing that Shiva can become angry, but asking Kashyapa to pacify Shiva. Diti asks Kashyapa to pray to Shiva. Kashyapa Muni gives prediction that Diti will have two demon sons who will constantly afflict the three worlds, will kill innocent living entities, will torture women, will enrage great souls, and finally will be killed by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Diti repents and says, no, please change your predictions because the prediction is not good. Kashyapa pacifies Diti by saying that your grandson Prahlad Maharaj will be a great devotee. Diti was finally pleased that at least her sons are not killed by the wrath of Brahmanas, rather will be killed by Supreme Personality of Godhead and will attain liberation, plus that the grandson Prahlad Maharaj will be a great devotee. Hence, Titi was pacified. That's a quick summary of chapter 14. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay, chapter 15.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna to all devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. Seeking permission and able to speak. Canto 3, Chapter 15, Part 1 and 2. Part 1. Demigod's approach to Brahmaji and glorifying him. In this, Maitreya Muni is explaining Vidura how the pregnancy of Didi is disturbed the demigods and the bad omen is seen throughout the universe. So the demigods were asking Brahmaji to the reason by addressing him as a Vibhu, the representative form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Brahmaji, demigods and sages are called Trikala Yana and also called God of demigods because he is the secondary creator, sustainer of secondary creator, sustainer of the universe, and the head of the jewels of the demigods. Therefore, it is not difficult for Brahmaji to understand everything happening both in material and spiritual world. He knows everyone's heart and their intention. So they were requested to explain this situation. The Vedas were first impregnated into Brahmaji's heart by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is the original source of all scientific knowledge. So he is the separated external energy of the Lord with the incarnation of mode of passion in the material nature, because you are the cause of this universe. If anyone meditate upon you without deviation can attain devotional service. By this glorification, the demigods are asking the reason for the situation. Part 2. Brahmaji's description of Vaikuntha planet. Here Brahmaji is with his transcendental vibration trying to satisfy the demigods, explaining how in the material world all are full of full of anxieties because they live eternally, including demigods. Whereas in Vaikuntha, they are free of anxieties. So there is no question of birth and death. All the residents have 400 like Lord Narayana. There is no occupation except rendering transcendental service to the Lord with the full fulfillment of their own desire. This process cannot be understood by hearing the Vedas and Puranas, not even go and see that. There is only Suddha Sattva, no trace of passion and ignorance in the Vaikuntha Loka. This Vaikuntha is very dear to Vaishnavas for their progressive march towards the kingdom of God. This planet have many forests with the desired tree bearing seasonal fruits and flowers, and they are spiritual, full of opulences, so the inmates travel with their sweethearts in space by special plane. The flowers carry the fragrance and honey bees, and they give importance to the glorification of the Lord. There is no difference between human and non-human. All are spiritual and variegated in the level of Krishna consciousness. The principle of devotional service of hearing and chanting is very prominent in Vaikuntha. There is no envy among the devotees. The flowers are very conscious and greatness of the tulsi plant and leaves. The women are very attractive and beautiful, like the goddesses of fortune. The houses are made out of marbles and the grounds are touchstones. Even Brahmaji desires to attain human form because it is specially meant for the living entity to attain transcendental knowledge and religious perfection. That is the most suitable boat to cross the ocean with the spiritual master as a captain, and the information from the scriptures or favorable wind for floating over the ocean. By doing so, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Among all the qualities, if one chants the holy name of the Lord without any offenses, he becomes freed from all miseries and attain the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna.
Okay, super excellent. Chandan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. All glories to His Divine Grace, Sri Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, and Sri Radha Krishna. Seeking permission from Guru and Gauranga and the assembled devotees to speak on the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, about Jaya Vijaya and Sanat Kumara brothers at the entrance of the 7th gate of Vaikuntha. Requesting devotees assembled to forgive me for any of the shortcomings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. The Kumaras cursed Jaya and Vijaya. The 4 sages, Kumara brothers, reached Vaikuntha by mystic power, by devotion and influence of Yoga Maya. But they were stopped at the entrance by 2 doormen, Jaya and Vijaya. The doormen had committed a great offense because no one will check a saintly person to enter any door of Vaikuntha. Sages became angry and sorrowful because they were denied to see the Lord. The Kumaras concluded that the doormen themselves are impostors. As a punishment, the sages cursed the 2 contaminated persons to be transferred to the material world, where the living entities have to face 3 enemies, namely desire, anger, and lust. Such contaminated persons are never promoted to Vaikuntha Loka. The 2 doormen suddenly realized their mistake of stopping the pure devotees, that 2 Brahmanas. Hence, to escape out of their curse, fell down at the feet of sages. The doormen were aware of going to criminal department of material world and may forget the Supreme Lord. They prayed that this might not happen in their lives. Lord arrived at the gate and gave the darshan to the 4 Kumaras. The Lord incarnation as Padmanabha, after realizing the insult to the sages, rushed to the gate along with the spouse Sri Lakshmi Devi. The God is visible before them face to face, called as Samadhi Bhagyam. They attain such feature by their pure yogic practices. Lord knows that the doormen are also His devotees, but committing offense to other devotee is more dangerous. The Lord was so merciful on the offenders and smiled at them. This attitude of the Lord was due to His unlimited quality of transcendental qualities. The sages regarded the Lord with unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads to His lotus feet. They viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, and so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature. They were able to reach their aspiration. They became fully satisfied and expressed their gratitude. Kumaras confirm the Lord as you are ultimate absolute truth. This could happen only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Few devotees would take pleasure of hearing and chanting the glories of Lord, do not care for any kind of liberation. The sages also realized that their mistake of cursing devotees of the Lord. They prayed to the Lord that even in the hellish condition of life, their minds might not be distracted from the engagement of service to the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. Sages prayed for their words, always engaged in glorifying the Supreme. The four brothers want to see the eternal form of Lord continually. They felt so much obliged to the Lord that they offered their respectful obeisances unto him again and again. Thank you for the opportunity, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, super excellent. Any questions, comments for realizations for Mother Chandra and T.N. Chandra Prabhu? Okay, let me quickly summarize chapter 15. Chapter 15 is titled Description of the Kingdom of God. Important lessons in this chapter are that beautiful description of the spiritual world is given, and next is do not offend devotees. So bad omens started to appear even when the demons Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were in Diti's womb. Demigods wanted to find out the reasons for all these bad omens. Hence, demigods approached Brahmaji. In response, Brahmaji describes the history how Kumaras tried to enter Vaikuntha and they got stopped by Jai Vijay, leading to the Kumaras cursing Jai Vijay to take birth in the material world. These demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in Diti's womb, are Jai Vijay because of the curse of Kumaras. Brahmaji starts by first describing characteristics of Vaikuntha and Vaikuntha Vasis. Vaikuntha consciousness, there is no envy because Krishna is in the center. In spiritual world, all are always engaged in his devotional service. All have no desires for sense gratification. In material world, people glorify each other. But in Vaikuntha, the trees, birds, residents, everyone glorifies the Lord. The plants also glorify Tulsi Maharani. That what austerity Tulsi Maharani must have done. Other trees have so much blossoming flowers. Tulsi Maharani only is one green plant. Still, all plants glorify Tulsi Maharani because Tulsi Maharani touches the lotus feet of the Lord constantly. Vaikuntha residents are not agitated by their beautiful concerts. So how can the Lord be affected? In Canto 1, Chapter 11, it describes that the Lord is not attracted to the queens. Rather, Lord reciprocates. Although the queens have beautiful smiles and gestures, still they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Lord is simply attracted with devotion. Srila Prabhupada gives the example that owner of a sweet mart is not attracted by the sweets. He only prepares and sells the sweets, but he is not agitated by the sweets. Similarly, Lord created all living entities, but Lord is not agitated. Lord is not under the control of these beautiful apsaras. Those who cannot enter Vaikuntha are described as unfortunate materialistic people wanting unworthy talk on mundane topics, cinema, etc. And they are not interested in Krishna Katha. And on the other hand, devotees who become ecstatic on hearing glories of the Lord are able to enter the Vaikuntha planets. Human form is glorified that even demigods want human form. World is an ocean. Human form is a boat. Scriptures are the favorable breeze and spiritual master is the captain. They utilize this human facility properly to go back to Godhead, then it is successful human life. Otherwise, they are committing spiritual suicide, which is Atmaha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that Kumaras did not come to Vaikuntha doorstep because of their devotion. But this was the arrangement of Yog Maya, because Lord wanted them to experience the highest blissful nature. This incident of doormen stopping Kumaras happened by Lord's arrangement, that doormen stopped the Kumaras by chance because the Lord wanted to make Kumaras as devotees. Although no anger is not supported as long as the anger is for Krishna's service and anger is not for personal reasons, I will still repeat our earlier discussion that stay away from anger. ISKCON devotees don't get angry for their personal reasons like materialistic or politicians fighting in the parliament. And this is the key difference, that the anger is for Krishna because one can please Krishna in their own way. But if anger is for defending our own position, then it is not the right attitude. Srila Prabhupada also chastised his disciple, but Srila Prabhupada's anger was only for serving Krishna in a better way. Srila Prabhupada's anger was not in his personal interest. Again, stay away from anger unless you reach a perfected stage. Because unless you reach the perfected stage, it is highly possible that anger will be for personal reasons, resulting in anger using you in Maya's service instead of you using anger in Krishna's service. The Kumaras cursed Jai Vijay by saying that you are supposed to have qualities like the Lord, but you are acting like materialistics. You offended us great Brahmanas. Hence, somehow, by cheating, you have entered Vaikuntha. You too are showing yourself like devotees, but you are cheaters. You are imposters. You have envious nature. Means naturally you are envious to the Lord, because enviousness towards the Lord is reflected by enviousness towards other living entities. Srila Prabhupada has explained that enviousness towards the Lord is reflected in meat eating. How Lord is having trust on both of you gatekeepers. Indirectly, Kumaras are also questioning the Lord. The act of Kumaras to act angrily and curse devotees is considered as a Vaishnava aparadh, an offense. The two gatekeepers, Jai Vijay, in response, show their causeless mercy on Kumaras, and because of the mercy of Jai Vijay on the Kumaras realize their mistake. Devotees do not counter curse. For a devotee, any kind of punishment is not a problem. Devotees cannot tolerate the punishment to forget the Lord, because forgetting the Lord is the biggest punishment. Both Jai Vijay as well as Kumaras expressed humility towards each other. This humility attracted the Lord to appear at that place. Lord appeared there to prove that bhakti attracts the Lord. As long as argument was going on, Lord did not appear. But it was the humility of both Jai Vijay as well as the humility of Kumaras made the Lord appear at that place. Gravity of the offense is more on the part of Kumaras. Hence, Kumaras could not rise to Dasya Bhakti. They could only rise to Shant Bhakti. For Jai Vijay, Lord wanted to teach that Brahmana position is superior. Hence, should still be very careful in dealing with Brahmana. And Lord wanted to teach the Kumaras that you should know how to deal with my devotees. Lord comes to the gate and Lord begged forgiveness from Kumaras, and Lord chastised Jai Vijay. By chastising Jai Vijay, Lord is showing intimacy. And by begging forgiveness from the Kumaras, Lord is keeping distance from the Kumaras. Lord is asking for forgiveness from the Kumaras. This is not a very good reciprocation. And Lord says, because you Kumaras are Jnanis, you cannot be intimate to me like Jai Vijay. Lord wanted to make Kumaras as devotees, hence by Yog Maras, Kumaras came to Vaikuntha. There are few verses describing the beautiful features of the Lord. And lastly, it also describes that the Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievements. The first 7 achievements are experienced by the devotees. First is sound, the sweet voice. Devotees can experience sweet voice of Krishna. Second is touch, the softness of the form. Third is form, the beautiful form devotees can experience. Fourth is taste, the sweetness, meaning the affection towards the devotees. Fifth is smell, the fragrance, just as Kumaras got fragrance from the Tulsi aroma offered to the Lord's lotus feet. Sixth is mercy. The Lord never fails in expressing affection towards devotee. Seventh is actions or pastimes. Devotees can experience all these 7 achievements of the Lord. And the 8th item of Aishwarya can be achieved by aspirants of liberation, which is 8th item is power or opulence. So the 6 opulences we know of the Lord. And Kumaras lastly offered prayers to the Lord and asked for service. That's a quick, fast-paced summary of chapter 15. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. Chapter 16.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, seeking permission from all of you, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Guru Parampara, as well as Sri Sri Radha Krishna to offer this summary of chapter 16, parts 1 and 2. The 2 doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the sages. Please forgive me for my shortcomings and mistakes. The first part of this chapter discusses how the Lord apologizes to the 4 Kumaras. The Lord begging forgiveness from the 4 Kumaras shows how he keeps his distance from them. By chastising Jaya and Vijaya, he shows his intimacy and close relationship with them. Some key points to learn are that devotees should be very careful when dealing with other devotees because the Lord himself says that his devotees are non-different from him. Hurting a devotee means hurting Krishna. The Lord performed this pastime to fulfill his fighting desire. Anyone can become a devotee simply by smelling the fragrance of Tulsi Maharani. A leader must take responsibility for their subordinates' actions. The Lord personally demonstrates this by begging forgiveness for Jaya and Vijaya's offense towards the 4 Kumaras. The devotee should be blameless because any offense committed by them is a scar on the Lord's spotless reputation. The Lord is so humble. He says that he attains fame because of Vaishnava Brahmanas like the 4 Kumaras, and he is the servant of his devotees. The Lord takes the dust of the lotus feet of the Brahmanas on his head. He gives all respects to them and teaches us that we should do so too. Harsh words and actions done by Brahmanas must be accepted and not be considered an offense. Devotees never counter personal defamation. Rather, they accept it as the plan of the Lord. The Lord then goes on to ask a favor from the 4 Kumaras for Jaya and Vijaya so that they can return back to the Lord very soon after completing their punishment. The second part of this chapter 16 discusses the situation of the 4 Kumaras. The 4 Kumaras become bewildered because the Lord's speech is bewildering. They could not understand him, but they wish to glorify him. The Lord's Leela is like a drama he writes, directs, and performs. The situation where Jaya and Vijaya stop the 4 Kumaras from entering Vaikuntha is like that. The Lord remains silent regarding the offense of the 4 Kumaras, though the gravity of the offense is much greater. The Lord teaches us a couple of points from the situation. People who displease him by treating the defenseless living entities as different from him. And people who please him are those who are gladdened in the heart and respect the Brahmana even though they utter harsh words. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, super excellent. Shalini.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Seeking permission from you all, Srila Prabhupada and all gurus in disciplic succession, and Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, I would like to present the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, Parts 3 to 5. Please forgive me for any shortcomings and mistakes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Part 3, The Kumaras replied to Lord Narayana. The 4 Kumaras became speechless and bewildered by the Lord's speech. They became pure devotees and were transformed in their hearts. They replied to the Lord as follows. Your considering the Brahmanas to be in the highest position is your example for teaching others. Actually, you are the supreme worshipable deity, not only for the demigods, but also for the Brahmanas. It is because of your mercy that all kinds of yogis attain perfection. How can you be so great because of us? We are dependent on you, my dear Lord. Your humble words do not diminish your glory, and they only reveal your wonderful character and pastimes to the people of this world. The sages wanted to stress that although the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, says that he worships the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, actually the Lord is worshipable not only by them, but also by the demigods. Therefore, the Lord does not need another's favor because no one is equal or greater than him. Actually, everyone needs the favor of the Lord for a successful understanding of his human mission. The Kumaras were conscious of the weakness and prayed to the Lord to remove their passion and ignorance. The 3 transcendental qualities of cleanliness, austerity, and mercy indicated by the prayers of the 4 Kumaras should be followed by the devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness. Lakshmi Devi, the goddess who is sought by the demigods, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and everyone else, always engages in rendering service to the lotus feet of the Lord. The conclusion is that no one can be the benefactor of the Lord. Everyone is actually the servant of the Lord. The Kumaras say, your potency is not reduced by a submissive behavior when you become a cowherd boy or play the son of Nand Maharaja and Yashoda, or being the leader in the battle of Kurukshetra. They are just part of your pastimes. Like this, the 4 Kumaras glorified Lord Vishnu and offered prayers to the Lord. Part 4. The Lord reconciled the situation. Lord spoke to Jay and Vijay. I can nullify the curse of the Brahmanas, and even the 4 Kumaras admit their mistakes, saying that they have unnecessarily cursed 2 of my devotees. Kumaras say, now you can decide what to do with them, whether you want to approve or disapprove of the punishment. The Lord said, although I can nullify this curse, I will not do it because I do not want to go against my own rules. I have empowered the Brahmanas, and then when they do something, I cannot disapprove of their words and your departure from Vaikuntha to the material world. Lakshmi Devi had foretold this departure. Once Lakshmi Devi wanted to see the Lord, and Jay and Vijay had stopped her. As the Lord was resting, Lakshmi Devi became very upset and she said, you should go to the material world. This also joined the curse of the Kumaras, and they both go. Another more profound reason is that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer of all pleasures. He also has desires to fight. So when Vishnu wants to fight, he cannot fight with the devotees of Vaikuntha who worship him with awe and reverence. So the Lord is sending his own 2 devotees to the material world, and they will become demons, and then they can offer a proper fight to the Lord. Nothing can happen without the Lord's sanction, because the Lord is the source of everything. Anger and fighting are also present in the Lord. Part 5. Lord Brahmaji concludes this narration. When one offends Krishna or Krishna's devotees, the luster diminishes, as for Jay and Vijay, and they fall from Vaikuntha into the womb of Diti. Lord Brahma spoke to the demigods who were perturbed by bad omens like darkness throughout the universe caused by Diti's pregnancy. Brahmaji didn't give any solution, only Krishna Katha. Brahmaji showed the demigods that the situation created by darkness for which they were disturbed was the desire of the Supreme Lord. He wanted to show that even though these 2 attendants were coming in the form of demons, they were very powerful and greater than the demigods who could not control them. No one can surpass the acts of the Supreme Lord. The demigods were also advised not to counteract this incident because it was ordered by the Lord. The Lord is the most ancient person Lord's Yogamaya cannot be understood. In all kinds of difficulties, we can always take shelter of Krishna Katha and hope for Krishna's protection. Thus, Brahmaji narrated the whole incident. Hare Krishna. Thank you all.
Okay, super excellent. Any questions, comments, realizations for Shivangi and Shalini? Shivangi also did a very good first presentation. Super excellent.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, let me quickly summarize chapter 16. Chapter 16 is titled The Two Doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jai and Vijay, Cursed by the Sages. When the Kumaras cursed Jai Vijay, the Lord accepts the curse. He says, curse is correct. The two gatekeepers deserve to be cursed. I should have cursed, but it is okay since you have cursed. Jai Vijay ignored me, the Lord is saying, and by ignoring you Kumaras, the devotees. Jai Vijay have done offense to me by ignoring you Kumaras. Hence Lord says, I permit the punishment. Whatever punishment you have done is approved by me. And Lord says that Jai Vijay have committed offense. Lord is asking forgiveness from Kumaras because Lord is keeping distance from the Kumaras. And Lord chastising Jai Vijay because Lord has deep affection with Jai Vijay. Simultaneously, Lord is not finding offense of Kumaras, even when gravity of the offense of Kumaras is more. By this behavior, all these behaviors, Lord is showing few things. First, that the Lord is maintaining distance from Kumaras. Plus, the Lord, by chastising Jai Vijay, Lord is showing that I have very close, intimate relations with Jai Vijay. Plus, there are important lessons that it is that this whole situation is not only a drama, but do not offend anyone is an important lesson. Plus, Kumaras go on to become a devotee simply by smelling Tulsi Maharani. Plus, Lord fulfilled his fighting desire. And finally, the Lord is also teaching the quality of a leader. Modern day leaders, they will not take responsibility but will blame subordinate. Leader means should take responsibility. This is the quality of a leader. Now, another question may come up that how is it an offense to you, O Lord? The Lord said that because I am master and Jai Vijay are servants, hence offense is by me. The Lord is saying offense is by me. Hence, the Lord is asking for forgiveness. Now, how can the Supreme Personality of Godhead commit an offense? And even if you do an offense, who can punish you? The Kumaras are asking these questions indirectly. Maybe infamy is the only punishment. Name of the master may be destroyed by a servant who commits sinful activity, just as leprosy destroys the whole body from a simple white spot. Krishna says, I attained fame because of you Brahmanas, the Kumaras. People who displease the Lord are those who look at Brahmanas, cows, defenseless living entities as different from the Lord. They are like serpents with sinful vision. Such people will go to hell and torn apart by vulture-like messengers of Yamraj. Cows, Brahmanas, women, children, old men are 5 types of defenseless persons to be protected. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, offense made by Brahmana should be tolerated and not corrected. Lord says those who are gladdened in the heart and respect the Brahmanas, even if Brahmana utters harsh words and continue to look upon Brahmana as my own self and pacify them, Just as a son will appease an angry father, Lord gets pleased by this. Kumaras become bewildered as to why Lord is asking forgiveness and why Lord is glorifying us Kumaras. Kumaras got attracted to nice, sweet talks of the Lord, and they wanted to hear more and more. Kumaras also realized that although Lord's speech is bewildering, but still Lord's speech is very sweet. Kumaras could not understand and became bewildered, and Kumaras go on to glorify the Lord. Kumaras are realizing and repenting that now we have realized that we have done a great mistake, a Vaishnava offense. Hence, my Lord, you may be angry with us, and we are ready for any punishment. Or if you want to eradicate the effects of the curse, then also we are okay. Kumaras are saying to the Lord that you are glorifying us, but we are actually realizing our mistake, and we are ready for any punishment. Or if you want to eradicate the effects of the curse, then also we are okay. All this is bewildering for the Kumaras. And they say that we understand you want to respect the Brahmanas, but we understand that you want to set an example to respect Brahmanas. Because of your mercy, all kinds of yogis achieve perfection in their progress. Kumaras realize that we have done mistake. We curse these two faultless gatekeepers. Hence, Kumara said, either punish us or cancel the curse. We are okay either way. Lord speaks to the Kumaras and reconciles the situation that punishment is permitted by me. This is the right judgment. Krishna says, I also expect such punishment. Hence, Jai Vijay can go to the material world. Lord also speaks to Jai Vijay to go to the material world and satisfy him, Krishna's fighting desire, and that Jai Vijay will remember me in the anger rasa. Lastly, demigods inquire from Brahmaji, when will Lord mitigate this situation? Brahmaji replies that it is Lord alone will come to rescue when Lord desires to come. That's a quick summary of chapter 16. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay, last presentation, Uncle, chapter 17, 18, 19.
Hare Krishna, all devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, seeking permission and able to speak. Forgive me for my shortcoming. I am also privileged to present 3 chapters. Unit 11, Canto 3, Chapter 17, 18, and 19. The title is Victory of Hirnyaksha over all the directions of the universe. The battle between the Lord Boar and the demon Hirnyaksha, and the third, the killing of demon Hirnyaksha. Hirnyaksha and Hirnyakasipu are the twin brothers. Daityas conquered every place. Originally, they were the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, namely Jai Vijay, because of the 4 Kumaras they were. Because of 4 Kumaras, they were born as demons by the fighting to satisfy the fighting desire of the Lord. Hirnyaksha challenges Varuna, the water god, for war, who had no desire to fight. A great personality. Kumaras a great personality who knows the future events and openly conveyed to Hirnyaksha that he would be dead. By humility, he accepts that he is too old to combat, and the only person to fight with Hirnyaksha is Lord Narasimha. Hirnyaksha inquires Varuna where he can find Vishnu. the egoistic as unconquerable Hirnyaksha travels to the bottom of the causal ocean to fight with the Lord. Since from Narada Muni he learned the supreme personality of Godhead, he is lying in the depth of causal ocean. Twin demonic brothers were in the womb of deity. Ever since the twin demonic brothers were in the womb of deity, bad woman started. When it increased, there will be very less of brightness of the sun. And the demonic people indulge in sinful activities. The difference between demigods and demonics are the demigods are concerned about spiritual upliftment of human society, whereas the demons permanent goal is gratification, eternally enjoy, bothered about material upliftment. The four Kumaras knew about the bad woman, that it was due to their curse. Hirnyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, due to their penance, got the benediction from Brahmaji that they cannot be killed by anyone in three worlds. If Lord Krishna decides, he will perfectly kill and no one can stop. Later, Brahmaji was confused by the sinful activities of the twin brothers. Jay and Vijay are the superficial demons with no tinge of pious deeds. People do not have faith if God comes in human form. What if the God comes in Varaha form? Hiranyakashipu. Hirnyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were almost immortal, hence they were fearless. Even the demigods were afraid. They hid themselves like snake hide themselves for fear of Garuda. Cows were terrified, yielded blood instead of milk, and the trees fell down without the blast of wind. Demonics trained their family members to exploit the universe for personal sense gratification. They want to rule the universe eternally. The second title is Battle Between the Lord and the Demon Hiranyaksha. The demon criticizes the Lord, which are indirect glorification. For example, Abhaya for killing the process of birth and death, which means liberation. Demons cannot understand the incarnations of the Lord. Hiranyaksha dived into the causal ocean where the Lord was amphibious in water, where he creates is Narayana. Sages and devotees are seeking the Lord, who extinguished the material misery, who is informal, is by his potency, Yogamaya, are inconceivable. The Lord is satisfied when you offer prayers. When you ridicule, he is unsatisfied. Demons cannot understand the God. They think they can kill God with materially fatal weapons, and they are disturbed when devotees pray to the Lord. Brahmaji requests the Lord not to play, but to kill the sinful demon Hiranyaksha. The title, The Killing of the Demon Hiranyaksha. After hearing Brahmaji's prayers, the Lord smiled and appeared from the nostrils of Brahmaji as Varagadev. And Hiranyaksha had equal strength during the fight. Lord's mace fell down in the ground. Lord felt that no one can give this pleasure. The demon respected the law of single combat. Lord appreciated the love of righteousness and invoked the Sudarsana discus. The enraged demon during the fight struck her Lord's broad chest, which is a mark of Srivatsa, where Goddess Lakshmi resides. Only Lord has it, since everybody in Vaikuntha look alike. Finally, Lord kills Hiranyaksha, which was the glorious death of Hiranyaksha, retrieved the earth from the ocean, lifting it on his tusk, restored in the universe. Maitreya Muni did not manufacture the story, but he repeated what he heard from his spiritual master, which is Parampara's tradition. message for all of us. Anyone with a simple heart of gratefulness must be Krishna conscious and offer devotional service to the Lord. And the second message, most important, I address to the all privileged devotees assembled today. Anyone hears, chants, or takes pleasure of killing of Hiranyaksha by the Lord, who appeared in boar form in order to deliver the world, is most blessed and relieved of sinful activities and delivered from the miserable conditions of material life. Hare Krishna.
Okay, that's a super excellent presentation of the 3 chapters in a very concise manner. Any questions, comments, realizations for Uncle? Okay, in essence of time, let me quickly summarize chapter 17, 18, 19. Chapters 17 to 19, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha will take birth, and Hiranyaksha will have a fight with Nila Varahadev. Chapter 17 is titled Victory of Hiranyaksha over all directions of the universe. The twin brothers Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha take birth, and many bad omens, natural disasters happen after their birth. Similar to Canto 1, how Yudhishthira also saw bad omens when Krishna disappeared. When demons increase, bad omens increase. Srila Prabhupada says, because of demons, there is very less brightness of the sun. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the child that is conceived first comes out later, and the child that is conceived later comes out first. From mother's perspective, child coming out first is elder, but according to Vedic scriptures and according to father, the first conceived child is the elder child. Srila Prabhupada explains the difference between demigods and demons is that only devotees approach authority. When we face problems in life, in material world, we should approach authority or spiritual master. This is a very important symptom of devotees. Whereas demons, they don't want to accept any authority. Demons' permanent goal is sense gratification. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Jai Vijay did so many sinful activities without any tinge of pious deeds. Still, they did not go to hell. Jai and Vijay enjoyed very nicely. Hiranyaksha then challenges Varuna to fight. Varuna shows humility that I am old and Lord Vishnu is the best person for you to fight with. Varuna says that you will meet Lord Vishnu in 5 days. And Hiranyaksha is saying to Varuna that, are you trying to scare me? And Hiranyaksha asks, please tell me, where is Lord Vishnu? And Varuna says that Lord can take any forms, such as pig, fish, tortoise. I don't know in which form the Lord will come to kill you. Chapter 18 is titled The Battle Between Lord Boar and the Demon Hiranyaksha. The demon criticizes Lord Varaha, and Sridhar Swami comments that the criticisms are indirect glorifications of the Lord. So, Vana Gochara, criticism is that you are resident of water and forest. Glorification is that you are resting on the water, Lord Narayan. Mriga, criticism is that you are animal. Glorification is that you are sought by the sages. Ajnana, criticism means that you are fool. And the glorification is that there is no knowledge which is unknown to you. Na swasti yasyasi. The criticism by the demon is that you cannot go without being heard by me. And the indirect glorification is, unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for us. And then mamekstha. Criticism is that in my presence, you are trying to take earth. And the indirect glorification is that in spite of my presence, you are able to take the earth away. And this is good for the earthly beings. And then Suradhama, that you are lowest among demigods, is what the demon is trying to criticize. And the indirect glorification is that you are Lord of all demigods. Hence, you are best of all the demigods, or you are God. And then Abhaya, criticism is for killing, and glorification is that you are killing the process of continued birth and death. Then Sucha, Sucha means grief. That's what the criticism is. And the indirect glorification is that material miseries are extinguished by Lord's Yog Maya. Lord also has feelings. So when we offer prayers to the Lord, he is satisfied. And if we criticize or have ill names for the Lord, then he is unsatisfied. Lord's fitting reply to Hiranyaksha also has two meanings. Lord is duty bound to lift earth. Even though Hiranyaksha criticized, Lord was tolerant, Lord was dutiful, Lord placed the earth on water. Here Lord is teaching demigods that while doing your duty, some obstacles may come. Don't be disturbed at any time. Be fixed in discharge of your duty. Another meaning of Lord's reply is that I am receiver of devotional offerings, even from demons. I must battle with you to derive bliss from the fighting because of the enmity in you caused by the curse of Kumaras. And another meaning of Lord's reply is that filled with prema, you accepted the mood of a demon as a promise to give me happiness in fighting. Therefore, make me happy by fighting. The promise you gave me refers to Jai Vijay's promise to the Lord to fight. And Brahmaji requests Lord Varaha to kill Hiranyaksha because anxiety of demigods and Brahmaji is increasing. Hence, Brahmaji is praying, please kill Hiranyaksha immediately. Lord could have killed the demon right away, but the Lord is playing and enjoying. Hence, Brahmaji is praying, please do not play. Please kill this demon. Chapter 19 is titled The Killing of Demon Hiranyaksha. The actual fight between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev is described. Hiranyaksha overthrows Lord's mace, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that Hiranyaksha had equal strength, hence Lord's club fell down. Lord felt that no one is equal in strength, hence Lord thought that no one can give me this fighting pleasure. Lord wants to be defeated by his devotee. Hence, Lord gave Hiranyaksha that much strength. Hiranyaksha is equal in strength is by the mercy of the Lord. Then, Lord overthrew Hiranyaksha's mace. Hiranyaksha tries various ways to attack, but he keeps failing. Hiranyaksha creates illusions, but Sudarshan Chakra is able to destroy all illusions. Brahmaji and others praise Hiranyaksha because while seeing the face of the Lord, Hiranyaksha gave up the body. This is such a glorious death. Demon kicked by Lord's lotus feet, the same lotus feet that yogis try to meditate upon. The perfection is to hear Lord's pastimes from bona fide acharyas. If you hear or read Mayavad commentary, then the accumulated bhakti will get destroyed. What to speak of Lord's pastimes? Even if you hear activities of the devotees, you will be purified. Srimad Bhagavatam has Lord's activities and Lord's devotees' activities. If you remember Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master at the time of death, you will go back to Godhead. Last is the Falastuti. Anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in this narration of Lord Varahadev will be relieved from sinful results and confers extraordinary merit, wealth, fame, etc. And when one hears this at the last moment of death, is transferred to the abode of the Lord. That's a quick summary of chapters 17, 18, 19. Thank you for tolerating 5 additional minutes. Any questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, this presentation is a wonderful revision and realization, and we are really privileged, really privileged.
Yeah, very good realization. So the homework, read Canto 3, Chapter 20. We should be able to cover the whole chapter. And for this Chapter 20, I will send you a Excel template. You can print or use the Excel to populate the last part of Chapter 20. In essence of time, I request all that if we can please stop here. I have to start the next class early today. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare